I may or may not cut this whole fucking part out. I feel uncomfortable. Should I smoke more? Proper. Proper. Hey guys, welcome back to Proper. I'm your host Alexis. If you are returning PP, thank you always for coming back. If you're new here, hello. Welcome. Warm welcome. Let's set the motherfucking tone. Honestly, before we do that, we're just gonna we're gonna do a little Sparky together. Because why has this year felt like 2024? The start of 2025 has felt like 2024. Why have we not had a comeback since 2020? Right? I can't show you. Hold on. Let's spark this. Anyways, what a time. It's Friday for me anyway. It's a happy Tuesday for you, assuming that you listen when we come out for our coming out party every week. Anyways, it's been a fucking week. Am I right? But it's okay. We come up. I firmly believe that even if January is not starting on a posy note, that at least March will. I don't know. Something about March feels like that's going to be the start of the new year. I definitely feel different internally, but I feel like the climate of the world, along with just the shared experiences that I've been talking about with my girlies, are that like it's still 2024 energy in regards to like opportunity and things and like, you know what I mean? Anyways, that's the motherfucking tone. I don't know. Take it as you fucking please. Let me know if you've been having a fantastic year. Let me know if you've had a fantastic 21 days. Right? Technically, when this comes out, yesterday was unfortunately Inauguration Day. So let's fucking hope we're on a positive note. Right? Right. Anyways, as always, let's get proper low. Let's just get it all out. Let's just get it all out. My proper low this week started on Monday. It was my day off. Not that I actually never have I don't know why I said it like that. A previous version of me requested Monday off, and I'm very grateful because, as you know, last week I had a horrendous week work-wise. And so I thankfully already had Monday off, and I was so excited to like get her done and get some good stuff done. Had to get my nails done, toesies done. I went short. They're a little chipped right now. I cut off my nails because we have to save money. Not that the nails were so expensive. I'm honestly being dramatic. But I was like, I could be using that $70 towards something else. So we're reallocating money during this time that it's cold. Because it's also extremely inconvenient for me to go to the nail salon just so that I have long nails. I'm like, let's detach for it for a second. Anyways, Monday. I'm excited. How was my last weekend? It was a pretty good weekend. I hung out with a few of my friends, and then Monday I had all of these plans of like I said, getting errands done along with meeting up with another one of my besties. And I'm doing my norm, taking Nala on a normal walk as I always do. And then when I come home, my keys are no longer on my person. Right. I retraced my steps so many times. Okay, pause. I changed the audio on this. We're still testing things out. I actually have a PP who works at a mic company offering to send us some new stuff so that our quality improves, our production quality improves. But I just changed the setting on accident, and I'm gonna keep it because I think I liked the audio of episode 60 more, and I think I used this one. Let me know if you notice a difference. I'm sure you will. Anyways, what TF was I talking about? Hello. What was I talking about? Oh, my low. Duh. Keys are no longer on my person. So I retraced my steps about 4 times, couldn't find them, and the scariest part is like the thought process that comes after that. I was very much reminded how alone I am here, right? Because I don't have a spare. I don't have a car to have a spare in. Nobody has a spare because I don't really have family or anybody here who would have a spare. So I was a little bit fucked in it. Thankfully, my super gave me like his master key. Like he gave me access to his master key because I guess he'd be fucking with me. I don't know. We have like a rocky relationship, but I got in. I ended up making myself some spares. We're fine. Everything's fine. I ended up still pursuing my day, which I was really proud of because if you know anything about Virgos, once our day has changed, we're kind of just moody. Like we can't get over it. I don't know. Maybe it's just but I don't like plans to be changed. I don't like when things happen. I dwell on things like that, especially because I've never lost keys a day in my life. And that I find that to be a very unresponsible thing or wow. Irresponsible. Excuse me. It's Friday. I toked already all day. Anyways, I was really proud of myself for getting over that fucking hurdle. And it's fine. But the reminder of how alone I am was a little scary. And I made extra spares for a few friends of mine. They are people that I haven't known quite long. However, that's what community is all about. Anyways, proper high of the week. It's also a little bit of an update. I got some Cuddy last night. You know, I've always wanted to say that from ATL. And okay, before you start to judge the amount of oversharing that I do on this podcast, I use proper for a lot of things. Proper is like therapy for me. And y'all know, if you're original PP, my relationship with men, and I feel like I've briefly talked about it and things like that, but I feel like I've alluded to having sexual trauma, and I don't need to expand on that. However, if you've also experienced sexual trauma, some people go the route of acquiring shame around sex. And before, this was probably something very difficult for me to talk about. But through TikTok, shout out to RIP TikTok, I really hope we have it when this comes out because right now we have it and we have 2 more days of it. Let's pray that we still have it. But TikTok taught me that we all have a lot of shared experiences, and that means like there's not just an original experience. It seems like we all go through the same shit. And I think my purpose here is to normalize. I mean, that's the whole point of proper, is to normalize what proper is, which is being genuine rather than this prestigious like we look at proper as proper, but in reality it means genuine. So having genuine conversations around topics that may be improper, not the definition term of improper. Are you catching what I'm throwing? Am I speaking? Hello? I feel like I'm doing that Wild Thornberry thing again when I'm like, and I'm just talking. Anyways, so I got some clear last night, and I was working through some emotions because I told myself and you that I wouldn't break my celibacy until somebody made me their girlfriend. And then that had me thinking, what? Question mark. Why would I do that? Because that's just showing like my perspective around sex and around intimacy. And I think that was like a shield for me to not work with these issues around intimacy. So yeah, I don't know. I may or may not cut this whole fucking part out. I feel uncomfortable. Should I smoke more? I think I should. Can you guys reassure me? If I keep this part in, please reassure me because it's a weird conversation because you feel embarrassed because I am a sexual person. I'm a human being. I think we all are, Well, maybe not because there are some fucking bitches that don't be liking a hunch. I don't know. I get embarrassed because this is technically like a podcast about relationships and sex and dating and pop culture and stuff like that. But like, I'm not out here. Like, I struggle in my head. Like, I unfortunately endured trauma as a kid through my adolescence for 20 years. that I'm working through. And I'm accepting that little by little while not like letting it overpower my life, you know? But I say all that to say, you could guess who it was with. I'm not gonna tell you though. But I feel like if you really know who the fuck I am, and if you've really been listening, then you know who the fuck it was, girl. Praise be to the people. And I feel like last night I was working through my emotions once they left. And I was like, why do you like I like instantly went to shame. And I was trying to blame that person somehow. And I was like, no, like it's just for me, I just needed to. I think it finally clicked with me that like the amount of shame that I have around it and to just reframe that perspective. Like it doesn't need to be shame, it could just be fun. Like it doesn't need to be anything, it could just be fun and safe. Do you know what I mean? Again, I might take this whole thing out. Anyways, so with my pH being up, obviously, I also realized because Lego ghosted me, and that triggered some abandonment wounds and some other things from low legs and or young legs, low legs, yeah, not young legs. Anyways, and I think that's another reason why I was like, I'm not gonna break my celibacy until BFGF. But now that I did it, I'm like, you truly have to get under someone to get over someone. And not that I wasn't over Jit, it was more like, I guess there was like a little bit of a lingering feeling type. And maybe there was a thought of like, if he were to text me back or text me or reach out to me, would I respond? Answer is wholeheartedly no. If I did, I don't know, because you could never say never type. But I don't know, I just got some clarity. And that's all that counts. And thankfully that happened quickly. So I normally wouldn't recommend that, but honestly, totally understand it now. And that ties me to the proper point of this week, which is the whole concept of ghosting and the psychological impact of it and what it does to our day to day and how to get over it and all of that. Because again, we all have this fucking shared experience and nobody wants to fucking talk about it because it is embarrassing. But before we get into our PP of the week, we have our PR, our proper Rex. And last night we saw this movie called The Substance. The Substance. It was so good with Demi Moore. Whole coochie titties out. Phenomenal. She did great. I can't imagine having to do a scene that she did naked on the fucking floor with people watching and recording and her having this like transitional thing that's happening because the whole movie is about essentially like losing your youth and getting the opportunity to get it back and realizing that I'm still interpreting the movie. It was kind of like Infinity Pool, like very like weird thriller, psychological thriller-esque, gruesome at the end, which I'm still dissecting because that shit was OD. I was like, what are we talking about here now? They lost me for a sec. But it's also about stardom and celebrityism. Is that a word? I don't know. Phenomenal movie. 10 out of 10. 11 out of 10 if I could. The filmography was spectacular. I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, if you're into shit like that, like, God, it was so good. The coloring, everything was just so good. So, so good. The acting, everything from head to toe of that movie. And it's a 2.5 hour movie. And if you know me, you know I fall asleep. But I didn't. For a magnitude of reasons. One of them being it was a phenomenal movie. Anyways, that's about it. We got through that kind of quick. Not really. Anyways, PP of the week, how to get over a ghost and under a man. I feel like I'm gonna make this part one. I feel like this may be an ongoing conversation. Already got under a man. Check. Got over the ghost. Check. What more do you need? Anyways, if you don't know who I'm talking about when I say Lego, I talked about him in the first episode back, right? So that's episode 59, I think. I think I say the Lego experience. I think it's in the title. But to briefly explain it, this man bamboozled me and seeked me from the internet. I no longer date fans because of him. Seeked me from the internet and painted this picture of being a great, amazing man when he's actually a little pussy ass little boy, little bitch boy who's actually petite and small and the smallest man I've ever dated. So, fuck you. How about that? I'm on one. Hello. You see what getting under a man will do? Cause y'all, I was down, but that was October. That's embarrassing. That was October. And that was only like a what? 2-month situationship? Anyways, child. He bamboozled me. I thought he was the man of my dreams. He was just love bombing me. Rada. And that experience defo made me lose my confidence in all aspects. And I want to start by just saying how normal this is. And I'm about to sound real arrogant, but you don't think I'm shocked having this ass, this mind, this heart, this tight ass pussy and still getting ghosted? You don't think I'd be thinking about that? Because I'm down to earth, but I'm still walking on it. So, hello. Do you see this wagon? I know it's abnormal. I know that. It's a dream. You're literally on a cloud with me. Hello? Besides all of my other things, but I don't need to sell myself to you because I already know that you know my worth. But you don't think I'd be thinking that? Like, that's embarrassing that I got ghosted. But it's not. It's not. It's a normal experience that we literally all go through. Because I know that if you listen to this podcast, you're obviously somebody who likes my personality and sees my value, and you're shocked when I get ghosted, right? Same to you. Same to you. Why? Because it's not personal to you at the end of the day. Ghosting has nothing to do with the person getting ghosted and everything to do with the person who's ghosting. Because they don't even like themselves. They want to be a fucking ghost. They want to be Casper in this bitch. So let's start with the psychological impact that it does, causing rejection, uncertainty, self-doubt, which is crazy. Crazy to think that a 5'7" man could make me doubt myself. That his actions could make me doubt myself. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Because I'm the most confident person I know. No, that's a lie. But I am a confident person. I get that a lot as a compliment. Which I'm always like, is it a compliment? Because they're always like, you're so confident for wearing that and things like that. And I'm like, what? Huh? Anyways, that's a conversation for a different day. So let's start with the sting of rejection. Ghosting feels like silent rejection, which is so much worse and hits harder than an actual breakup because most times like breakups are mutual. You have the exact answer and you know why it's not working out. Ghosting, you don't have the answer. And that is probably the hardest part because that causes the uncertainty and the self-doubt because as humans, we try to find an answer and then we end up blaming ourselves. And it creates that loop of what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? You start to think about everything. Little things like, did I use the wrong emoji? Huh? Why the fuck is we asking ourselves that? Did I use the wrong emoji? Did I say something wrong? What? Did you say something wrong? Can you name 3 people that love you? Yeah. Then no. You didn't say anything wrong. And if you did, it doesn't mean that they're allowed to ghost you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, ghosting and no longer wanting to pursue something with somebody are obviously completely different things. And that's the most infuriating part. If we're still ghosting at this big age, please look in the mirror. And I know you can't see because you're a ghost. That's the problem. That's the problem. There's no fucking reflection right now if you're a ghoster. If you're a ghoster, if you're listening, you're a fucking bitch. Do you hear me? You're a pussy ass little limp dick boy. a saggy titty bitch, if you're a girl, or however you identify. You fucking hear me? Hello? What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay. Sorry, I went on a rampage. Not assuming that any of my PPs are ghosters, but being that it happens to us all, seems like we know a lot of them. You know what I mean? I've never ghosted. I'm quick to be like, you know what? Sorry, I don't want to pursue this. Even if we go just on one date, I'm not going to ghost you. So, with that overthinking and uncertainty, we could obsess over our last interaction with that person and replaying every text and date in our mind, which makes it so much worse. And I'm like the preliminary person. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm using the right terminology here. If there was a definition of somebody who did that, it would be me. Because Lego actually really liked taking pictures. So I would take my digi on every date and we would take all of these fucking pictures. But fuck that you love so bad. Yeah. So it was very easy for me to replay all of that. We even had videos like OTDs, like all of that bullshit. And we would text all the time, which now I find to be a red flag, which I do love texting, but it's a red flag. Anyways, that's a conversation for another day, like I've said before. So that uncertainty can erode confidence and make dating feel risky and untrustworthy, which is scary because you don't want to be fearful of human interaction, and that's what dating is. And that's the most unfortunate part. Like, I've even been ghosted by a friend. I was ghosted by somebody who knew me for a very long time. And the reason I found out she ghosted me and blocked me was I texted her, "Merry Christmas, love you," and it never delivered. And I reached out to her husband, her mom. Like, I would go back to Tampa. I went back to Tampa for her birthday. Like, we were best friends. We talked every single day, multiple times a day. And out of nowhere, she ghosted me. I still don't know to this day why. Like, completely dropped me like a fucking fly. And that shit's hurtful. With dating, with relationships, with fathership, everything. It's like, it's all triggering that abandonment wound. And I'm here to also remind you that you can't be abandoned as an adult because you have you and you're safe. I think that's like the biggest thing that I kept having to I kept having to find my perspective back to that of what the fuck was I just saying? I keep just dropping the ball and losing what the fuck I'm saying recently. Like, I had a conversation with somebody at work and I completely was just like, what? Lost it. Anyways, we digress, we continue. So, a lack of communication can lead to feelings of inadequacy, and that's where that questioning worth and self-doubt comes into play, which I despise. And I can't believe that I felt that again from a little boy. So just know that even when I go through this, and even though I'm over the ghost, it still stings the ego a little bit, especially when you are a confident being and you know your value and your worth. It's like, huh? But again, it has nothing to do with you. That's the thing. Like, remember, they lack a reflection. But that doesn't mean that we don't have those common thoughts of, was I not good enough? Did I say something wrong? And you could think of being not good enough in every fucking capacity, bro. Like, you think of so many different scenarios of how you could have been more supportive or this or that. And like, that's the thing. If you continue down that questioning line, you miss the point of ghosting has nothing to do with you. Getting ghosted has nothing to do with you. It's about that person not feeling worthy of you, right? Whether that be even being worthy of sharing their experience and no longer wanting to pursue something with you, or simply being afraid, because I think that's a common thing that I'm seeing specifically with hetero norm male female relationships, is when a male ghosts the female, it's because normally, I mean, for the bitches that I know, the male got scared somehow, whether that be you not feeling like they could meet old girl standards or not feeling like they could accept and reciprocate the love that old girl could give. And again, that has nothing to do with you. What are you going to do? Lessen your love? Huh? You're going to be less of yourself? What? Question mark. You don't think I've had thoughts of wanting to fucking change myself? And I know for a fact you wouldn't want me to change. So just know that that's a likewise feeling. You don't have to change. Unless you want to. Unless there's things that you want to change about yourself, change them. But don't think that getting ghosted by a bitch is a reason to change. So people would compare the pain from ghosting as phantom pain. And phantom pain is a real phenomenon where people feel pain in part of their body that's no longer there. Like after losing a limb, even though the physical part is gone, the brain still registers as if it's present. And so even though a relationship was casual or short-lived, ghosting can feel like losing something bigger than it was. And like phantom pain, after losing something, our brain still reacts like the connection is still there. And that's another thing, like if you're doing that thing of constantly reaching out or still trying to get an answer or whatever, like along with thinking about what the relationship was and thinking about those dates and reminiscing and all of that, you're thinking it's still there. Like your mind is thinking it's still there. And until you cut it and out of sight, out of mind, I wholeheartedly believe in, although I know we don't want to do that, but like removing them, I mean, you don't have to block them, but literally removing them. I'm down to block too. Always block. And unfollowing them, obviously. And deleting the photos, deleting their number, just deleting the trace of them is totally necessary because how else are you going to tell your mind? Because you get that whiplash, right? Like it's literal emotional whiplash getting ghosted when you're seriously dating someone. Like speaking for myself, like we were seriously dating. So I thought. So anyways, so with that, unfortunately the psychological aspect of it and the outcome of it is having trust issues in future relationships. And being ghosted can make people feel guarded and fearful of being vulnerable. And we forget that vulnerability is a superpower. And so we might avoid putting ourselves out there to avoid getting hurt again. And, tying it back to my PH, I almost didn't allow myself to have that fun because I'm so afraid of getting hurt and quote unquote abandoned and quote unquote rejected when I know that I can't and I shouldn't because I'm taking people for who they are and what they tell me they are. Because I think with ghosting too, a lot of times like we could ignore the red flags that we may have witnessed throughout the relationship before they ghosted us, and then that recollection comes up and is a lot louder, of like, wait, I didn't even like that motherfucker. Because, yeah, there were certain things that I didn't like, and I was definitely looking past that. And then after he showed me who he actually was, I was like, oh, so you are a fucking bitch. And I actually did force myself to like you, So I've sprinkled the advice in throughout, and it's really mindset. And I'm going to lead with journaling, therapy, moving your body, stretching, everything that I always repeat. And I will continue repeating it because although I'm a firm believer and advocate of it, I even lose my rhythm within my self-care. And so with that comes not internalizing it. And that's why we use those tools of journaling and reading self-help books and all of that to help us remember that it has nothing to do with our fucking self-worth. Someone's actions has nothing to do with our value. Hello? Are you listening to me? Nod your head yes. Rate this podcast 5 stars. Comment. Hello? if you agree. Because it has nothing to do with you. And if you think that it has something to do with you, fucking read a book. Because I'm telling you it's not. I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Cut it. Cut off all contact. Don't chase for closure. I regret sending that motherfucker an audio. That motherfucker didn't deserve my vulnerability after he ghosted me at all. Nor did he deserve my empathy. And I think that's another thing that we do. We lead with so much more empathy when we're really chasing. And we don't chase the attract, right? But we don't chase. Why are we chasing men? What? Speaking to my girlies. Why are we chasing? In general, why would we chase somebody who don't want us? Why we want somebody who don't want us? Why we want somebody who don't even like us? Because it's your ego. Your ego sees the challenge and is like, no, we're going to make that person like us. Subconsciously, somehow. Because when you really come back down to earth, mother, you realize you ain't even like that motherfucker. You ain't even like him. That fatherfucker. So, cut it. I'm tired of my bitches going back, unblocking, whatever. Cut it. Cut it. And reframe your perspective. I've said it. I've said different things throughout this episode of how to reframe it. And remembering who TF you are, which is a bad motherfucking bitch or a hot ass motherfucking man or whatever it is, whoever it is that you are, because I know my PPs is sexy. And remember that their absence is a blessing. If you, whatever it is you believe in, God, the universe, whatever, remember the whole point in life is to trust them. Trust it. Trust him. Trust her. Trust they. Whatever it is you believe in. And so when somebody is removed from your life, whether that be in an obvious traumatic way like ghosting or a mutual breakup, treat them the same in regards to perspective of not everybody's on this bus to the motherfucking destination. Some are only here for a stop here and a stop there. That's all. That got nothing to do with you. Trust the universe. Trust God. Whenever they remove somebody from your life, it's for a reason. 100%. I'm telling myself that every day. And most times, speaking for my girlies, because that's who I identify with, we are so much prettier without men. Let's be real and raw. I've never seen a bitch where I'm like, oh, he makes her prettier. I feel like they suck us dry. And we need to be sucked dried in another way. Hello. You know what I mean? So don't internalize it. Reframe your perspective. Remember who the fuck you are. And you do that by finding a fucking hobby, doing things that make you feel pretty, doing things that make you feel lively, and hanging out with your girlfriends or friends and grounding yourself back to who you are, which is an amazing fucking person. So if you've been ghosted, remember that you are loved and you are worthy of love, consistency, and respect. And communication. You are worthy of that. You, all of y'all hoes are worthy of love and connection and respect and consistency. I think I replaced that C with something else before, but the right person won't disappear. They'll stick around because they see your value. Remember that. And remember that even the baddest bitch you know, aka me, has forgotten who the fuck she is. But thankfully she's proper, so she easily remembers. And on that note, I'm going to close us out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed being able to share with you. I really hope I keep everything in this episode. You guys always make me feel very connected and honestly strong whenever I'm vulnerable. So I hope for that same reaction. And I love you. And I will see you next week.